The T-Roc Cabriolet is that rarest of things, an open-topped SUV. A few compromises were necessary to create this design, but they're not things that many potential buyers of this model will be too bothered about. At heart, it's still a T-Roc. And this car still has all the quality, style and character of a memorable open-top Volkswagen, which makes it, in its own individual way, very desirable indeed.
This T-Roc Cabriolet certainly doesn't feel particularly sporty, firstly because you sit at SUV height, and secondly because of the extra 194 kilos that this Cabrio variant has to carry around. That becomes quite evident in the unlikely event that you're minded to try to start chucking the thing about. This Cabriolet borrows two petrol engines from the ordinary model, a 115 PS 1 litre TSI offered only with 6-speed manual transmission, and a 150 PS 1.5 litre TSI EVO unit, which is the one we're trying here, which is offered with either a manual box, as in this case, or with a 7-speed DSG automatic. Even this 1.5 litre version isn't exactly a ball of fire. It makes 62 from rest in 9.6 seconds on the way to 127 miles an hour. We would really be tempted to stick with the smaller unit. There is the option of plusher R-line trim with a lowered suspension and larger 19-inch wheels, which together will give a noticeably firmer ride, so try before you buy there. Volkswagen turned to specialist Karmann to design this car, who in turn quickly realised that quite a few fundamental changes to the T-Roc chassis would be needed if the top was going to be chopped off this model. In creation of this Cabriolet variant, 40mm has been added to the T-Roc wheelbase, which has in turn added 34mm to the car's overall length. Plus, a range of strengthening measures have been introduced for the floor plan, the doors, the sills and the windscreen surround. It doesn't stop there either. The 4 framed doors that you get in a hardtop T-Roc here make way for a pair of longer, frameless ones, and the usual B-pillars have been dispensed with too. You get a fabric top here, unlike the folding metal top that you got in the old EOS model, and you operate it via this button down here between the seats. If bad weather threatens, then it raises in just 11 seconds. When the roof is lowered, it folds into a Z-shaped package behind the rear seats, and when the top's down, there's no roof compartment lid. Its solid front cross strut serves as its cover, and that contributes to a cleaner and sleeker design. This also means that the 284 litre boot capacity is unaltered, regardless of whether the roof is open or closed. At the wheel, the added rake of the windscreen and the closer proximity of its header rail, which is positioned rather close to the extent of your peripheral vision, gives a more enclosed, intimate feel than you'll get in a conventional T-Roc. You might quite like that. Less welcome is the fact that this Cabrio design has a relatively high shoulder line, a shallower glass house and quite a high rear end. All of those things contribute to more restricted over-the-shoulder vision. Otherwise, the cabin layout is pretty standard T-Roc, and it's a little dour unless you opt for the optional coloured dash packs. A high-set, glass-fronted Discover navigation 8-inch infotainment screen dominates the centre stack on all models, and there's the possibility to view a further TFT monitor through this 3-spoke steering wheel. This active info display is a digitalized, customizable instrument binnacle screen, and it's either standard or optional, depending on the trim choice that you make. So let's finish with a look in the back seat, which you won't be able to use if the optional wind deflector has been fitted across it. The whole idea of this Cabriolet variant's wheelbase increase was to enable this convertible model to be a proper adult 4-seater, but that's a big ask with any compact drop top, and so it proves here. You'll need a degree of understanding from those ahead of you if you're going to have any real legroom at all. Let's get to the WLTP figures. The base 1 litre TSI petrol model manages a minimum of 44.9 mpg on the combined cycle and an emissions high of up to 142 grams per kilometre of CO2. Upgrade yourself to the 1.5 litre TSI petrol engine we're trying here, which can shut down unneeded cylinders of the engine at low to medium throttle, and the figures are up to 42.2 mpg and up to 152 grams per kilometre for the manual, or up to 40.5 mpg and 159 grams per kilometre for the DSG Auto. Can this car provide everything? The desirability of a Cabrio, the promise of sporty motoring, and the practicality of an SUV? Well, of course it can't, but the target market probably won't care. This is a pleasure purchase and it should be unconstrained by thoughts of sensibility. Yet you could own and run one, ideally as a second car, with very few practical compromises. And when the sun comes out, you'll be in your element.